Yo, what's good, guys? It's your man Recca back again. Anime back when. Now, somebody asked me to do, actually, this is a follow-up video to the video that I put out before, where somebody asked me to talk about some of the most overrated anime. And I said, yo, why don't we talk about also some of the most underrated anime, of course, also. So, first of all, if you want me to do a ramble about a topic of your choice, hit me up. Now, I have a bunch of anime next to me. This time I pulled out actual DVDs or whatever. So we're going to go down the line and get into some of them one by one. So first off here, I have Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water. Now, some of you guys might feel like, nah, Nadia's not underrated. Like, people appreciate Nadia. And that is true. Gainax fans and people who love that early 90s style, you know what I mean? Some of the urban legend, not even urban legends, some of the old school story, Jules Verne type stories, Around the World in 80 Days, you know what I mean? Those type of stories, 20 Leagues Under the Sea, which is this is based off of. A lot of anime fans who also are fans of those works appreciate Nadia, Secret of Blue Water. But the thing about it is, within the Gainax realm, it's very underrated. We always talk about Neon Genesis Evangelion, which I got into on the other video, right? We talk about Neon Genesis Evangelion. We talk about Gunbuster. We talk about, as a matter of fact, the two biggest ones from Gainax is Neon Genesis Evangelion and Gurren Lagann. We talk about those. Even Panty and Stocking. We talk about Fooly Cooly, Gunbuster, Karikano. That's his and her circumstances. But even in Panty and Stocking gets talked about. But a lot of times when Nadia gets brought up, it just kind of, yeah, Nadia, Secret of Blue Water. And only the fans of Nadia will dwell in on it as far as Gainax goes. And, you know, yeah, you know, the mid part of the story or the island arc or whatever was kind of, you know what I mean? But something about it, something about the opening, you know, something about that, something about the way the story goes. Of course, the Victorian era setting and everything like that. I just love this show to death. So, you know, Nadia, to me, is one of the most, not one of the most, but is very underrated in the world of Gainax. All right. Next up, we have, I love this one, man. Nobody talks about The Legend of Black Heaven. I don't understand why The Legend of Black Heaven, this is an incredible show. So Legend of Black Heaven is basically about a guy. I'm not sure if I talked about it on the channel before, but it's basically about a guy that he's a middle-aged man. You don't usually get those stories much. I mean, you started getting more older themed characters, you know, around this time, which was like 98. But, you know, it's a middle-aged man with a family or whatever. And basically, he just has to play the guitar, basically, to save the world. And him playing the guitar kind of stops these alien UFO aircrafts from coming and taking over. It's been some years since I watched it, but very underrated show. This is probably some of the best stuff to come out that late 90s, that 98, 99 era. Great stuff, you know what I mean? Right up there with, you know, the ones we always talk about, your outlaw stars and stuff like that. Incredible. Please go and check this out. Next up, you know, I have a video on this. This is probably one of my more viewed, probably my top 10 most viewed vids on the channel, which is not a lot of views. I think it has like 7K or something. But Flame of Recca, man, is, I don't know if it could be a little nostalgia. It's one of my first shonens that I went out and found when I got into anime, as I watch anime. But Flame of Recca is probably one of the top when you talk about the golden era shonen formula. Yes, it might be a ripoff of Yu Yu Hakusho or whatever. You know, some people might say that, or some people might say it's heavily inspired, but you know, I think it's one of the last ones to just do it very short, concise, straight to the point, 50-something or 49 episodes or so. And people just don't talk about Recca enough when we talk about the golden era. It comes up, you see some blogs will throw it in here and there, but when it comes to like the 90s era, Flame of Recca needs to come up more, you know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff that get brought up, and Recca doesn't when you talk about the mid-90s or whatever. But you know, like, I would watch Flame of Recca 10 times over before I'd watch Gundam Wing. But which one is more, you know, which one gets talked about more? So if you haven't seen Flame of Recca, don't go into it looking for no Yu Yu Hakusho level. Or maybe you might, you know what I mean? Maybe you might, because I like it just as much as I like Yu Yu Hakusho, believe it or not. You know, it has this distinct vibe about it. The opening, the first closing. Just trust me, if you know Recca, you know what I'm talking about. Like, it just has its own little flavor about it in that shonen world. You know, the Yusuke's, the Goku's, the Naruto's, the Gon from Hunter x Hunter, like, Recca fits right into that realm. You know what I mean? He's one of them dudes. And, you know, of course, he got his cast of characters with him. And, yeah, Flame of Recca. Please go check out Flame of Recca. Next up, we got, so, I have Gundam 8th MS Team here, right? It's not that people don't like Gundam 8th MS Team, but I will go as far as to say that Gundam 8th MS Team is probably the best Gundam series, period. I like it more than 0079. I like it more than Zeta Gundam. I like it more than, when you talk about the OVAs, I think out of the 3 main OVAs that we think of, 0080, War in the Pocket, is it 80? Whatever, War in the Pocket, 8th MS, Stardust Memory, which is what, 83, I think it's Stardust Memory, yeah, 83. And this one, I say this is the best one. Ironically, it's probably the least Gundam as far as its formula. When you talk about Gundam being a space, you know, ADHD mecha politics thing, this is still Gundam in that sense, but it takes place on Earth. And, you know, it just has one of the easiest stories to follow, and something about it just left a very strong impression on me when I first seen it. Especially the art style and the animation and the design of the mecha and stuff. Please, maybe you might want to watch some of the Universal Century stuff first. You don't need to watch this, but it fits into the UC timeline. So, but out of all the Gundam, again, Wing, we talk about Wing. Even if people don't like Seed, we talk about Seed. We talk about Zeta, and we talk about this and that, and also the Miller's Report for this was dope too. But we talk about what's the movie? Shoot, man. Oh, the F-91 movie and everything, like, or the Char's Counterattack. That's what I was thinking about. We talk about that, but we never really just sit down and talk about 8th MS Team. It's another one of those situations like Nadia within Gainax, where it's just like, yeah, 8th MS Team. But nah, man, 8th MS Team is litty. So there's that. All right, so listen, even though it's not really the same thing, Nightwalker Midnight Detective, I'll watch this 10 times over before I probably ever watch Hell Sing again, or you know, Hell Sing, when you talk about vampire themed anime, that's like the, you know, Hell Sing Ultimate is like that is the standard. You get what I mean? But even though this is something that is more of like a action-ish detective type of thing more than Hell Sing, I think Hell Sing is more of a thriller. You know, there's a deep story going on there. It's dramatic and all of that. When it comes to vampire, I just love this. You know what I mean? Episodic 13, detective stories, monsters, you know, and it's just that 90s cheese. You know what I mean? It's that 90s, you know, I can't even say trashy because it's a really good show. You know, you would expect it to be trashy. I thought it was going to be trashy as hell when I first put it on. But then as it started going, that first episode, and I saw how it played out, it kind of had this Detective Conan, but it's just not Detective Conan. You know what I mean? Because, you know, it loses that that mystery part where it's trying to figure out the mystery or whatever, and it just leans more to just being an action. But it has that type of episodic appeal that Conan has. And I'm telling you, just check that out. I have a review for that. Pretty much everything here except for Black. So far, I don't have Black Heaven or 8th MS Team, but Flame of Recca, there's a review. Nadia, there's a review. I kind of sometimes want to go back and, you know, that was the Nadia one was the first one that where I really leveled up, you know, my delivery and my presentation. Like the videos that I do to this day, the Nadia video was like that was like the plot progression in the anime back when story, where I really set the okay, this is where, you know, we go from here. I think the stuff I was doing before was kind of more trashier, not as good looking, not as delivered well. But anyway, so I have Nadia, Flame of Recca, and I also have a Nightwalker, Midnight Detective review, which is a little bit older. I might would want to do that over, but check this out, man. Check this out. Next up, again, now and then, here and there, this is not something that's necessarily underrated in the sense of people that know about it, people that's into the late 90s. You know, there's that realm of late 90s anime, you know, now and then, here and there. You know, let's see, Better Man. What else came out in that 99, 98? You guys know, you guys already know. You know, there's a couple that I'm gonna get to here, but you guys kind of get what I'm talking about. That 98, 99, 97 to 2000 realm right there. People that like that, you know, appreciate this, but it's still not something that gets talked about a lot, you know. And this is one of those things that it came out in 99. So One Piece came out in 99. You know, Hunter x Hunter 99 came out, you know what I mean? So this is something that just kind of came out. Artistically, it looked more like a Mon series, like in that Pokemon type of, Digimon type of thing. But it was definitely a thriller, definitely dramatic as hell, definitely some serious stuff happening to these kids that shouldn't be happening to them. But now and then, here and there, if you haven't checked this out, really go check this out. Next up, man, there's this show called Generator Gawl. I have a review for this too. I forgot. Okay, so this is a time travel thing, right? Where basically a bunch of guys go back in time. You know, of course, they get connected with a girl that's from that time, and then the four of them kind of, or however many characters there is, you know, whatever. It's a group of them, one, two, I think it's 4 in total, that basically have to stop these enemies or monsters. It's been a while since I watched this, but this is another one of those late 90s, like I just said, with Now and Then, Here and There. One of those late 90s experiences that's just, it's good. It's just a good experience. You know, I remember binging this when I did the review for it. I binged it all in like a couple of few hours or whatever. And, you know, I don't remember getting bored or getting burnt out. It was just a good little vibe, you know. And when it comes to sci-fi, yeah, when it comes to 90s sci-fi, this is, yeah, you know what I mean? So I find this to be very underrated, you know. Again, your Cowboy Bebops, your Triguns, things like that, Big O, things like that at that time kind of washed away things like this, and nobody knows about them, you know. And, even stuff like Crest of the Stars and those type of things, kind of just, all of those things kind of just washed away stuff like this, you know. So yeah, Generator Gawl. Next up, this is only the second half of the series that I'm holding here, but Saint Tail. I find, you know, people like Saint Tail, but I find that in the magical girl world, Sailor Moon is that one that is just like, it's always Sailor Moon. Everything's always, by the way, I have a review for this. It's always Sailor Moon, Sailor Moon, Sailor Moon. But Saint Tail to me is just as entertaining and just as charming as Sailor Moon. Like Saint Tail's transformation and the gimmick in every episode over and over again, even if it's a ripoff, even if it probably ripped off a lot from Sailor Moon, it still, you know, has its own flavor. It offers its own thing, you know. And so Sailor Moon is a longer running thing. It's a more, has what, 5 seasons, a shit ton of movies or whatever. But Saint Tail just has itself, you know. And I feel like Saint Tail should get some more recognition as far as the magical girl stuff goes. And speaking of which, I also have a review for this. I do want to do a complete, you know, overview because I only did the first season. Rayearth, man, I love this first season. It's also a magical girl, but it's a hybrid between magical girl and swords and sorcery. This first season of Rayearth, man, oh my lord. Now, some of you guys might not like this because you might find it to be a little bit too magical girl, or you just might not be into. It's like, if I'm gonna go watch swords and sorcery, I'm gonna just go watch Berserk, or I'm gonna go watch Recca the Lotus War. But there's something about this, especially its first season. The second season, it kind of, it starts to really get into this mecha. Like the second season basically turned it from a swords and sorcery magical girl to a magical girl mecha. which was like, I don't know if that was the best idea, you feel me? But that first season, dude, more people need to talk about Magic Knight Rayearth. You know, more people need to talk about it. Again, it's one of those things. It's not like it's unknown or nobody talks about it at all. But, you know, we talk a lot about Magical Girl, the transformations, the Sailor Moons and everything like that. But Magic Knight Rayearth, man, I'm telling you. And some of the greatest character designs. I mean, look at that right there. In anime, you know? So, Magic Knight Rayearth, color coordination and everything like that. And the last one I'm going to talk about here is Master Keaton. Now, I just put out the Master Keaton review. Go check it out if you haven't seen it. You know, when it comes to Urasawa, again, like, Monster gets all the love. It gets all the attention. It's been getting it for years, rightfully so. And then last year, towards the end of last year, or, yeah, definitely towards the end of last year, Pluto comes out. You know, and it's, oh, Pluto, and, you know, the Astro Boy connection and this and that. And, next thing you know, here we are with, like, yet another thing from this guy. And nobody still talks about this thing. And, like, this is one of those things that I only found out about by credits. Like, and I don't even watch credits on DVDs. You know, back in, like, 2017 when I was collecting, it's just, I put it in, maybe I went to go multitask or do something, and then the credits were, or not credits, the ads or whatever the case may be, yeah, whatever, the ads for other stuff, like the previews for other anime were playing, and this came up, and I was like, hold on, what's this? So then that's when I went and I checked it out, and I ordered the first volume. Oh, this is the second volume, but I ordered the first volume, and man, I was in love. Like, Keaton is dope as hell, you know? So, Master Keaton, man, Master Keaton. But, guys, I definitely could do probably a part 2, part 3 to this. But these are the ones that I want to say are some of the most off the top of my head, and just looking at my collection and stuff, the underrated stuff from you know, anime that I really wish more people would talk about. You know, as far as newer anime, 2021, there was this one called Opera Ranmin that was dope. Nobody talked about it. You know, I spoke about it before in there's a video I have called Anime's Love for the Victorian Era, where you could see some previews of it in that, where I talked about it in that. But, you know, a lot of times, again, some of the most talked about stuff are not the greatest, and some of the least talked about, or stuff that nobody talks about at all, deserves to be right up there, you know, talked about also. But here's some of it right there. Listen, what do you think are some of the most underrated stuff that you've ever seen, you know, that just nobody talks about? I know some of you guys might not agree with some of you might not be like, nah, but Recca, such and such, you know, more people talk about it. Let me know that in the comment section. And again, whatever you want me to talk about, comment down below. All right, like the video, comment down below. Peace.